Hi friends, now that everybody who signed up for a tadpole has adopted their tadpole, I thought I would read one more story called From Tadpole to Frog, so you can enjoy learning about the different stages your tadpole will take before it becomes a frog. Couple reminders about caring for your tadpole before I start our story. Your water should be changed about weekly, that's once a week. And just tell mom and dad that it needs distilled water at about room temperature, and you are to give your tadpole 1 pinch of fish food flakes. Those are goldfish flakes. 1 pinch per day. It doesn't need 3 meals like we eat. Just 1 pinch a day, and keep them out of the direct sunlight. Other than that, they can stay in the cages, the little tanks that I dropped them off in, or you can feel free to move them to something bigger. If you have a fish bowl, feel free to move them into that. And they can be released anytime from now until the fall. So if they become too much of a nuisance or too much of a bother, you can go find a pond or a river to drop them off in. I can't wait to see and hear from you about your tadpoles' names and how they're growing and what changes they've been making. One of ours at home already started growing its back 2 legs like the one in the picture down below on this front cover. So hopefully you'll start seeing some changes too. Let's get started on our informational story, From Tadpole to Frog. In the spring, you may see frog eggs in a pond. Each egg looks like a ball of clear jelly with a dark center. A clump of frog eggs is called a spawn. Inside the eggs, tiny tadpoles are growing. At first, they look like small, dark specks. In a few days, a little head and tail take shape. Soon the tadpoles wiggle out of their eggs. Gills on the outside of a tadpole's body help it breathe underwater. Fish have gills, and so do tadpoles. The gills help it to breathe. After eating the jelly of its egg, the tadpole has grown. This is kind of what your tadpole looks like right now. The tadpole's strong tail helps it to swim. Tadpoles eat until they are big. They do not look like frogs yet. Soon the tadpole has grown 2 hind legs, and the tadpole's gills have moved inside its body. So you see those tiny little legs starting to grow. Those are its hind legs. Frogs have 4 legs, so it'll grow 2 more up top here. Lungs are beginning to form inside the tadpole's body too. Now and then it puts its head above the water to take a breath. I like how you can sort of see the insides of a tadpole. They're kind of transparent or clear. As the tadpole's lungs grow stronger, its gills shrink away. 2 front legs grow where its gills once were. Starting to look a little more like a frog, isn't it? Soon the tadpole's mouth has become wider. My little finger was pointing to it. The tadpole starts to eat small bugs when it's hungry. So when your tadpole starts looking more like a frog and it has legs, both hind legs and front legs, and its tail is starting to shrink or get smaller, you might want to start feeding it some small insects, some small bugs. That'd be like a special treat for them. For a few more weeks, the tadpole's tail continues to shrink. Now the tadpole's strong legs and webbed feet help it to swim. Ducks have webbed feet. Webbed feet help animals that live near or in the water. They help them to be fast swimmers. The tadpole has changed into a small frog. The frog spends some of its time on land and some in water. And there he is. He's pretty cute, isn't he? The little frog catches bugs and worms in its wide mouth. After a few years, the frog is fully grown. Every spring, there will be new frog eggs in the pond. Ooh, that's an adult frog. Here are some of the words that were in the story, and I want you to guess what kind of story that was. I'll give you a minute to think. It had facts, real information about real things. If you guessed an informational, you were right. Thanks for listening.